Morning, friends. On my way to the gym again, and 99% of the time when I do these drive-in rants, it's something I saw on social media that I wanted to expand upon without typing out a book on their comments, and then I could share my thoughts with everybody else. So someone posted, I'm not trying to call this person out, she's terribly, terribly sweet and awesome and very, very positive. But somebody said that some of us are pushing fear-based narratives in the truth community, and and I'm here to tell you, I mean, reality exists, and it is often terrible. It is often horrible. I mean, you just gotta look around at the world right now. Look what's going on in Gaza. Look what's going on in Russia, Ukraine. Ukraine is basically a genocide because they're just shoving all of their men into the teeth of the Russian monster, and they can't, and because they're a puppet of the West, they can't accept that they've lost, and they should make peace. The former, I don't even know if he's former, the gay porn star Zelensky is just an absolute puppet of NATO and these maniacs. They just want to keep fighting. They just want to keep pushing Russia. And thank God Russia hasn't pushed the button, because, I mean, again, I said this a million times. I'm old enough to remember. I grew up in the Cold War, and I remember what mutually assured destruction was, and it was scary. But you had the comfort of knowing that the people with their fingers on the button weren't absolute fucking maniacs. Anyway, so reality exists, and it's often terrible, and the reality of what's going on today is that this is all part of a carefully planned and staged and deployed agenda. Nothing is happening at random. Some of these people like to pretend that the illusion is dying and the veil is being lifted. Things aren't getting worse. It's just the veil is being lifted. No. I mean, George H.W. Bush in 1993, so what is that, 31 years ago, signed us into Agenda 21. And it's on the fucking UN website, what they plan to do, and it's everything that they're doing right now. And they've expanded on that even more with the 2030, 2050 agenda, and it basically means you're all dead. You're all dead, and, places like, you look where I'm driving through, you can see it's pretty rural. Nobody lives here, okay? Everybody here is wiped out and denied of resources. It's pure Hunger Games. There might be a few people shooting squirrels with their bow and arrow, but everybody's going to live in the smart cities. And the only way you'll be able to move around is within the smart cities or between the smart cities. And this is all no man's land. They're returning it to nature. They're turning it into a giant wildlife safari. That's their stated agenda, and they're doing it. And as they do it, and as they destroy Western economies, which is part of their plan, part of their stated agenda, part of everything that they bragged about doing. Oh, the lie is dying, and the illusion is falling. No, it's a controlled demolition. I hate that. I mean, I hate it. I hate that I have to stamp all over your hopey changey shit. But that's what they bragged about doing, and that's what they're doing. And every time they do what they bragged about doing, we say it's for our benefit. It's delusional, guys. Delusional. I mean, you think that food prices exploding is part of like the illusion dying? No, I mean, like, even if it wasn't part of their agenda, like, why would you celebrate that? Food price, people are going to starve to death. The illusion's dying, like they're trying to get rid of meat, your ancestral diet. The illusion's dying. You're going to starve. Where are you going to get food from? And it's, I'm not trying to black pill you. Because the black pill is just, black pill is probably delusional. And am I black pilled? I mean, you could say that I am, because first of all, I hate the word hope, and hope is what half the country's doing. Well, everybody's doing. Everybody's hoping. Everybody's hoping it turns out for the best. And then they quote, Gandhi saying, "Oh, it's always turned out for the best," and the culture tells us that it always turns out for the best. Neo saves the day, Superman saves the day, the hero always saves the day, the good guys always win. and it's delusional, and it's poisoned our view of the world, so that we just sit on our ass and wait for someone to come save us. And I'm here to tell you, the good guys can lose. The good guys are losing. The good guys have basically lost, because the good guys think that the bad guys are going to lose by default, and we're not. And while the bad guys were fomenting their plan and implementing their plan, the good guys just sat around saying, "Oh, this will end eventually," because they're bad guys and they always lose. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of businesses went out forever, and all they did was complain about it on social media. If they try and shut your business down and you do nothing about it, like, and you're telling me that I'm black-pilled for thinking that there's no hope? Guys, I mean, you're in for a rude fucking awakening, guys. Prepare for hard times, because the time to do anything about what they are doing was like a long time ago. Like COVID at least was the cutoff point. Like when they implemented COVID, and I told you back then, I told everybody back then, I begged you, do not bend the knee. If you bend the knee, it's over forever. There's no coming back. And it's true, because how do you have 100,000 businesses go out forever and not have an economy collapse? And and everybody seems to think that they're just like, I see people post, and it's funny. It's funny, and I get it. But they post stuff like, oh, when banks start falling, and I have negative 247 in my account, and it's the guy from Lord of the Rings going, "You have no power here," and it's like, well, it goes a little bit deeper than how much money's in your bank account, guys. It goes to businesses that you need to shop at. They won't be able to survive, and it's a cancer that metastasizes throughout all of society, and everything is interconnected. We are interdependent on each other. That's why I go nuts about health and wellness, because you got a whole society full of sick, weak, stupid people, and we're interdependent on each other. And you might be smart and able to take care of yourself, but like division of labor exists. You know what I mean? Like, you need other people for you to survive. Unless you're just going to walk out in the wilderness and wing it, you need people to make your frying pans, to make your ovens, to get you electricity, to get you water. Like, you don't do all that yourself. And then if I'll just go solar. Well, you need someone to make your solar panels, and you need someone to make your batteries, and you need someone to be able to continue making those things, because they don't last forever. You're not thinking holistically. Everything is connected. And when they say they're going to do a thing, and a thing happens and it's bad, don't pretend it's a good thing. That's delusional. Anyway, I'm not trying to beat up on you guys. You got to face reality, or you're going to get fucking clobbered by it. Anyway, that's just how I feel about it. I'm not black-pilled. I'm just looking reality in the face, and I don't really see. And believe me, the things that I feel like needs to be done to stop this from happening, I don't have the means to do that, and that's the problem. Most of us don't have the means to do that. But what we need to be doing is we need a parallel economy in energy, because the globalists own all the energy. They own the oil, they own the coal, and they're trying to ban it, and they're trying to force us on, wind and solar, which is useless on a societal level. They know that they can't. Like, if they put everybody on EVs, it would collapse the grid. They know that. They know they can never produce enough energy to have everybody driving EVs. And yet that's the agenda. So what do you think's going to fucking happen when they ban gasoline and they ban gas cars, and then they put everybody on EVs and the fucking grid collapses? What do you think happens? It's the end of the illusion. It's not. It's genocide, guys. Genocide. It's the agenda. They take away your energy, you're dead. All right? You can't produce food without energy. So energy needs to be reconstructed first. And Elon Musk ain't doing it. Sorry. And you know what I mean? Like, it would be nice to see them go after a private, and you can't even do that, because the government will just come after you. The privatize coal and natural gas and oil, outside of Exxon and Shell and all of these corporatist globalist scumfuck organizations. Shell is owned by the Queen of Denmark, I think it is one of those Northern European nations, and she's just absolute evil. And they're all invested in alternative energy, and they're all invested in getting out of gas, and they know it doesn't work, and they don't care because they own everything already, and they have an infinite printing press where they can create as much money as they want and give it to whoever they want. They all have reassurances that they don't have to worry about profit anymore, and they're just trying to get rid of you. That's the agenda. Is that pushing a fear-based agenda when they say that's what they're going to do and that's what they're doing, and you say this is what they said they were going to do and this is what they're doing? That's a fear-based agenda? No, that's reality. So and the things that we need to be doing, like building a counter economy in electricity and power and gasoline, and building a counter economy in food, especially meat. Everybody says grow your own food. No one's talking about raising livestock. No one's talking about raising cows or lambs or anything that we need to eat. I've grown food before, guys. It's an exercise in futility. It's like it's a novelty, especially if you don't have like tractors and plows and implements, electric, gas powered implements to help you work it. You will literally put every minute of every free moment of every day into the garden and get minimal returns as far as nutritional value. If you're trying to survive off of it, you will not. Especially in my climate, just keeping the weeds under control is an exercise in futility. The weeds here are apocalyptic. Before you have a chance to get rid of them, they're back, and they just keep coming, and they come and they come and they overwhelm you, and then they overwhelm your food, and then there's nothing. If you got an extra pair of hands and everything and want to work for it, it's an unbelievable amount of work for a minimal amount of return, whereas animals are the opposite. It's a minimal amount of work for maximum return, maximum nutritional value, lots of protein and fat, which you really need. Nobody's doing that. They're saying, oh, just grow your own food. And I'm like, I don't want to nitpick on these things. You need to become self-sufficient, yes, but growing your own food ain't going to cut it. You got to raise it. You got to raise meat. You got to raise eggs. Your body needs these things. You ever see a vegan? They look like crackheads. You're gonna be like, oh, I'll just grow foods to survive. You're gonna be emaciated, weak, sick. You're not gonna make it. So you gotta look reality in the face. So, and if people were actually doing that, I could sit here and give you some kind of hope, and maybe they are doing it. I just don't know about it. It's not like the news would report about it or anything. But if you have the means to do that, do it. You need to at least raise sheep. You need a ruminant. Raising chickens or raising pork it'll keep us alive real well. But what we really need for optimal health is ruminants. And I don't want to just survive. You know what I mean? I want to rebuild this civilization. Growing fucking kale and broccoli ain't gonna cut it. Ain't gonna do it. And I don't even know if anybody's even doing that, to be honest with you. They post about it, but I hate driving in this town, I swear to God. But anyway, I'm not saying this to give you no hope or to just make you think everything's lost. But if you're gonna make it, you have to diagnose what's going on and look reality in the face, and then you have to base you have to act accordingly based on your reality. You can't formulate your actions based on delusions. So you can't just say, oh, it's a fear-based this is just all fear-based fear-mongering, and then I'll just sit on my ass or collect essential oils or whatever you're doing, and half-assing it or pretending. You got to look reality in the face. You have to see what you see, and then you can act accordingly. The reality is we're in a lot of trouble. Everything's terrible. Everything's very, very bad right now. And I've laid out the reasons why. And it's mostly because when they bragged that they were going to do these things, you laughed at people like me, and you said we were fear-mongers, or you said we were crazy. And don't have all day to wait behind these people. And it just got worse and worse. And now that it's really, really terrible, and we're trying to tell you it's really, really terrible, you're still putting in our face that we're fear-mongering. We're just, the truth community is fear incorporating fear-based tactics. Like why? Why would I want to scare you about something that doesn't exist? Why would I not want you to have hope? I just want you to look reality in the face and understand that the reality of it is it's terrible. The reality of it is that the bad guys can win. The bad guys are winning. And if you don't wake up to that fact, the bad guys will absolutely win. And it's 1,000 years of hell on earth for humanity if that happens. And it might be too late. Because, like, again, people like me are crazy and we're fear-mongering, and you didn't do nothing about it. So there it is. You can look reality in the face and act accordingly, or you can be delusional and say goodnight. Love you guys.